Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to our monthly Money Matters Mastermind. Before we dive into what I'm going to go over, I'm going to pass this off to Mike.
Yeah. So today is, as everyone knows, and I like to remind everyone, I am a big fan of alliteration. So this is actually my second favorite monthly Money Matters Mastermind because it's the May monthly Money Matters Mastermind with Mike. So anyway, just workshopping some new jokes here, guys. They can't all be winners. Before we go through our financials for the month, and after that, you're going to hear from Bobby Bodner, and Bobby's going to be talking about something that he's passionate about. I think it's in the news a lot, and it's a very topical thing, which is cryptocurrency. But before we get into all that, Bobby is a partner to Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan, and he supports several of our agents in his profession, which is bookkeeping and accounting for 1099 professionals. So Bobby works with musicians, performers, influencers, and real estate agents in Northeast Ohio. And he does a fantastic job. And so I wanted to plug that because it's not what you make, it's what you save. And it's not what you make, it's what you don't spend that's going to lead to you creating wealth. We have one of those agents who works with Bobby and has been working with Bobby for almost a year now, Polly Lorenzo. So I wanted to ask her, just as we kick off today, to give a little testimonial about working with Bobby, what that's been like, and to encourage you all to take the opportunity to have a consultation with Bobby and see where he and his team might be able to support you in growing your wealth. So with no further ado, Polly, would you like to tell us a little bit about your experience with Bobby in the next 3 or 4 minutes?
You're muted.
You're muted. Polly, you're muted.
Unmute. I literally am going to have to run upstairs real quick. So talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to be right back.
Okay. Well, hey guys, that's showbiz. That's what happens with live TV. Bobby, while we're waiting on her, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, other than you are one of the people I count amongst my hair inspiration. This guy's got it.
Listen, I appreciate that, Mike. You're great, and thank you for doing that. And I'm assuming Polly's going to say nice things. I don't know for sure. We did not rehearse this, so we could see that could go any which way. But Polly's great. We have been working together for about a year now. And essentially what our expertise is, we help business owners, entrepreneurs, investors, anyone who makes their tax return a little bit more complicated. And the good news about complication is it essentially puts you in the game. If your tax return is simple and all you have is a W-2, you don't need me. You don't need any tax professional. You can TurboTax it yourself for much cheaper. But you guys as real estate agents, it's not a job. You guys don't have a job. You have a business. You have a business with income and expenses, and that puts you in the tax game. So if you change the way you look at how you guys make your money as real estate agents from a job, because that's really not what you have. You do have a business. So Polly, I see you're back. I'll let you chime in here. It's good to see you.
Hey, good to see you. I have a 6-month-old little granddaughter that was crying, but mommy got her. She's done with the meeting. So I'm here to help this afternoon. So anyways, I just want to say, my husband audits the United States. So he's a money guy. My husband's just a money guy. He doesn't spend money. He saves money. He's very good. I was told from the beginning that you should have your own separate checking account for real estate because you don't want to commingle. My husband does not commingle. He's very, very disciplined. And I don't know if normal households have somebody as disciplined as Mike Rapaski or Bruce Lorenzo. They're kind of a different stratosphere. So anyways, but I do. So I just want to let you know that we have had an accountant. We've had several accountants, And I've asked everybody, should we get an LLC? People have said no. And a couple of years ago, I mean, I paid $58,000 in taxes. It's stupid how much I pay. And so then I got a new tax guy last year, and he didn't set me up on quarterly. And I thought, okay, this is normal. You know, maybe I can just pay all at the end. And then finally I got Bobby, and I said, Bobby, something's not right here. My husband and I are just not, this isn't right. And Bobby came in, he doesn't talk crap about anyone else. He just is like top shelf. He's like, this is where you are. This is where you're at. And this is what we need to do. Forget everything else. Just forget about it. It's in the past. And this is why you need to do it. So my husband was on the conversation with Bobby, and Bobby's conversations are half-hour Zoom meetings, and I believe you took an hour with us. So thank you. We didn't even ask. It just kept going. It was like a very organic conversation that was meaningful until my husband threw in the Browns. I'm sorry about that, Bobby. So anyways, but I know one of the facts that you gave me is last year on my self-employment tax or something, I paid $12,000 or $14,000. And just having the LLC, I'm only going to be paying $6,000 or $7,000 this year. So right off the bat, what was that a savings of like $8,000? Like it was crazy money, crazy.
Well,
That's
Polly,
down payment on the rental.
Let me say so, because you're almost 100% right. So the first thing is, yes, we're saving you money on taxes, but the LLC is not. One of our primary rules is LLCs do not save money on taxes. LLCs have a very specific purpose. It's a legal purpose of asset protection, right? But where you're saving money is when you take the LLC and you tax it as an S corporation, right? That transition is what's saving you money on self-employment tax. So, you know, I know this is not a tax call, right? We're here to learn about crypto, but I will say this. When I look at someone's tax return for the first time, and I look at just the 1040, I've seen what they paid. People think they're paying federal income tax. That's a part of what you're paying. But what you're really paying, and most of the time it's at least 50%, especially when you're self-employed, is self-employment tax. And those are payroll taxes. So that is not even federal income tax. That's a 15.3% tax you're paying on top of federal income tax. So it's two things, but you send it a one payment to the IRS. So you're not really understanding that, wait a minute, you know, you think you're just paying federal income tax, but that self-employment tax piece can be drastically reduced by changing the way your entity is taxed. And that is through being taxed as an S corporation. So that's go back.
I'm speed talking and condensing a year conversation with my knowledge and just hitting off the top of my head, which were massive aha moments for me. And then also, again, the S corporation is on top of that as well. It's like it's a hand in glove type thing. Mm-hmm. But I will say that Bobby has taken our phone calls. Even when I had to do my 1099s for people that work for me, I had never had to do it the way he wanted to do it, which is, I guess, the normal standard way. But Bobby he set us up on Telegram, and he just sent a telegram and he goes, can I just have a quick phone call with you and Bruce? And honestly, he said, are you available in 10 minutes? So we weren't even vying for his time, and he was very authentic and very much didn't minimalize the help that he saw that we needed. And so that quick phone call, he explained everything in like 5 minutes, and it was like, wow, that's how simple it is. And he was like, yeah, that's how simple it is, Polly. And we got it done that like within 5 minutes after that phone call. So also there's an attorney on there, which I've had to ask for an attorney's question. And then also there's a bookkeeper, there's an admin, and the cost is actually a little bit less than what I was paying an accountant, and they're there all the time. I mean, I try not to bother you, Bobby. Seriously.
You can bother me anytime you want, Polly. We love you.
Yeah. So, and I know you're having a baby, so I don't want to call you all the time, but I know I got her bottle ready, so get ready. But anyways, I just want to let you know that this isn't me giving hype. This is me giving gratitude and an intelligent, hopefully, conversation from myself, that this was very just there was so much revelation to it, and it was very simplistic, and I will be saving a crap load of money.
Which is a common term among fiduciaries.
That is, it's in the professional industry. We refer to the savings we help people at Breadify as a crap ton. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, last year, I mean, everyone knows, like I bought a lake house. I had to sell off some rentals to pay for the massive amount of like reconstruction that I'm doing. And then I had a lot of really crazy year with health with my family. But if it wasn't for real estate and just me sinking what I've done this whole first quarter into savings and you handling it, I'm building wealth again, and I'm building it very well because of you, which is fantastic. Because the circumstance, there's always white noise around you, and the health things with my family were enormous and they were pressing. And honestly, without you, I would have just been lost with not being able to build wealth, which is why I'm in real estate, building wealth and taking care of my family.
It is you would have to look long and hard to find a better testimonial for a better person from a better person on a better topic than that. So Polly, thank you so much for popping on for that. And guys, Bobby, go ahead and drop your link to set up a consult in the chat right now. Okay. Guys, Bobby will avail himself. He prioritizes our agents and has special rates for our team because of our partnership. You know, he's integrated into our culture. He was a sponsor for Bold. He does a lot of things to support what we do and to support you. So take advantage of it. Before we turn it over to Bobby to blow our minds about blockchain, we are going to throw it over to Julia to review our performance from the month of April and year to date. I will say, as I say on every one of these, you know, a big cornerstone of our culture as a company is transparency. And so our ability to be able to share out, here's the books on our company. Any of you can log in and see the income statement and balance sheet for Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan on a monthly basis to see where your contributions through Company Dollar go, how we're spending your money, and how it shows up as big fat profit share checks for everyone. So with that, Julia, take it away.
Awesome. All right. I will be brief. I know most of you are not here for this morning. We'll get it right back over to Bobby.
Are you sharing the screen, Julia? I'm not sure that you are. Oh, there it is. Never mind. It was my fault.
Come on, Mike. All right. So in April, we added 12 new agents to the office, which brings our total agent count to 451. And that was through 51 recruiting appointments. We had 3 different career nights, 2 in-house and 1 at Hondros. So we thank everyone who continues to send people to those and continues to help grow the office in that top section. Contracts written was 425. So that was up over April of last year. I'm not sure who of you were on the call last month, but our contracts written were down in March. So that's nice to see that going up. Year to date, we're still down about 2% from contracts written in the first 4 months of 2021. And of those 425 contracts written in the office, that was of 188 agents writing contracts, which makes up about 44% of the agent population. So that is still lower than what we typically like to see. Averaging around 50% is where we were most of last year. So just keep that in mind, that only 44% of our agents wrote those 425 contracts. Listings taken, we took 234 listings. We've seen this number trend down most months this year. We took 263 listings last April. And even though being down 11% over last year, it's down just under 7% year to date. This was the most listings we've taken in any month this year, though. So that is a positive. And 81 agents took a listing last month. 20% is typically like where we average around for listings taken. So that is on par with what we've seen in previous good years. That looks pretty good. Okay, our GCI, that's gross commission income. That is what the agents take home and bring all the commissions that come into the office. That's $2,089,228. That's trending upward. We've seen that trend up all year, up 13.5% roughly year to date, with homes being more expensive, and therefore your commission percentage based on that is up. So commissions have been up year to date, which is great for everyone. Company dollar, that is the 30% of your commission if you're in an uncapped status that the office keeps. We had 236,000 in company dollar last month. That is up a little bit from April last year, about 8%, and then pretty much even over last year, 4 months in, about 1.6% up. Profit share in April was down 6.5% from last year. So our profit share was 82,000 in April. And that's like pretty even over last year. You'll see here it's down 1%, but that will fluctuate month to month, depending on where the summer monthly will probably end up trending up year to date on some of those. For perspective, it was profit share was 88,000 in April of 2021. So not a huge decline, but was down a bit. And so some of you might be having some questions around that. There's a couple different things going on when you see company dollars up, but profit share is down. So I'm going to segue into our partnerships. So our title company, we were previously spreading about 23,000 in the first quarter, which was their fourth quarter closings. And we take that in the first quarter. So now we are spreading their first quarter profits through the second quarter. So in April, May, and June, you're going to see this number, the 7,389,000. And that is obviously significantly less than the 23 million we were spreading evenly, 23 for 3 months. So right off the bat, that's going to be something lower for the entire second quarter. Year to date with title, we're still up over last year, 4 months in, but we won't likely see that 6 months in with the lower first quarter we had this year. America's Preferred Home Warranty, we profited the 4,900 from them last month. That is up over April, but our year to date is down with America's Preferred Home Warranty. That's primarily because in the first quarter of 2021, we had a backlog of warranties and data collection forms that hadn't been turned in, and Sierra and Carrie put together huge efforts to collect all of that data and get all of that money. So that was all submitted in the first quarter of last year, which is going to inflate the year over year numbers there. Year to date from America's Preferred Home Warranty, we have made about $13,500. Our cross-country mortgage MSA is a stable 8,500 every month. You are used to seeing that. And Greater Metropolitan Management, our property management company, they were profitable by about almost 25,000 in the month of April. So we are 50% owners in that. So our profitability from them was 12,268. They are way up again year over year. So year to date, we have profited 53,000 just in 4 months from the management company. And last year, 4 months in, it was about 37,000. So that is a booming part of our company. And we thank everyone who's involved and sending investor clients there. All right. And to bring it home, our closed units were up just slightly, 331 in April. That's about 3% up. And with that, that bumped us into the positives, being up year to date 0.1%. So we are increasing in closings here in May. So we're likely going to see that continue to trend up. And our closed volume, 76 million last month. That's up about 7.5%. And continuing to trend upward as we see prices increase. And with that is our average sales price, which has also been increasing. So in April, it was 230 just for that month. Our year to date is at 222 for average sales price. So I kind of flew through that. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to let me know. You can send me an email. I can go over any parts of that with you, but
yeah. And I'll echo a couple comments there. One, the shift in the market that we know we are coming into will be a shift initially, if not entirely, based on units and transaction size. And so if you are looking at your business right now, and you're looking at anything other than units, I would encourage you to take a step back and look at units, right? Prices will continue to appreciate at least for the next 6 to 18 months, and they will level off before they will go down, right? What's going to happen is people are no longer incentivized to move based on rates or price or opportunity or work from home. So we're back into a model of you move when life makes you move, which is going to reduce the number of transaction sides that exist. So our focus, if you're wondering like, hey, what does the leadership team wake up and think about, and what's their target in terms of like the health and viability of the business? From the very top of the funnel, it is units, right? Because as units go down, if we can maintain units, we take more market share, right? And your business works the same way. And so, pick your geographic area, pick your zip code, or just pick your number, but the units are going to be really important. And then the second thing is that as those units are under pressure, protecting your transactions and protecting your clients is going to become increasingly more important. So our integration and support from our affiliate business partners, like mortgage, like title, like America's Preferred Home Warranty, or for your investor clients, like the Greater Metropolitan Management, those become huge pieces of leverage for you, right? In all my time with this company, I've never heard of cross-country mortgage fouling up a deal. Right. And I will tell you that with the drop in refis and the increase of people moving as refi lenders into purchase money mortgage, the issues with rate locks, the issues with appraisals, the issues that should not exist for you exist now. And so, with there being fewer opportunities for transactions, they become more fragile and more precious. And so you want to take advantage of that and integrate yourself with our partners so that your clients get everything that they need to get what they need. And those are the things that will continue to drive profitability for the organization overall and allow us to, take our next step in capturing more market share and bringing more talent to the table. So that's my reminder that you have everything you need within arm's reach, and then some. So please take advantage of it. And if you ever have any questions or have any issues with any of that, let me know. And I'll use that as the opportunity now to pass it over to the man, Bobby Bodner, who you've already heard about. So we won't reintroduce him. But I think in the first 5 minutes of meeting Bobby a little over a year ago, crypto came into the conversation because I made some backhanded remark about cryptocurrencies being the new beanie babies, and he proceeded to peel back my scalp and fill it full of knowledge around what this actually means and how this actually works. So excited to throw you all an off-speed pitch here with a conversation that's not, it might be real estate adjacent. Hell, there's probably people buying houses with cryptocurrency. I don't know, but I'm sure Bobby does. Bobby, take it away, my friend.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate all the nice words you said, having us on here, and thank you again, Polly, for everything. But I'm going to share my screen. So let me do that. Oh, I need permission.
Julia, can you give Bobby permission?
Should be good to try again.
Okay, perfect. Cool. All right, the crypto conversation. So let me get this a little bit bigger. Okay, so welcome everyone. I hope you are at least somewhat interested in this. If not, I'm going to do my best to try to make this entertaining. But this is our crypto conversation, and it's going to be not just about Bitcoin, but it's going to be primarily about Bitcoin and money, because it's really important to understand money before you hop into the crypto Bitcoin discussion. All right. So this is me in desperate need of another headshot. But like was previously mentioned, my primary focus is taxation and helping business owners, investors save money on tax. But part of that comes with me working with a bunch of people investing in crypto. And I've been asked by people who have been working in the tax space for decades, like, how does crypto tax? Like, how does this even work? Because it's so new and it's constantly changing, and the rules from the IRS are very vague. But this conversation is not as much about how crypto is taxed, but primarily about why does crypto have value? Why should you pay any interest to it at all? What is the whole point here? Like that was previously mentioned, this is just a little bit about Predify. I already posted the link in the chat, so you guys are welcome to set up a meeting. That link is specific to me. So if you set up a meeting on there, you'll be talking to me directly. And a part of the Keller Williams partnership and deal that we have is I will speak directly with you, talking about your specific situation for 30 minutes. So, you're welcome to send over a previous year's tax return. We could review it together. We could see what I see and see, certain tax planning situations for you, but we're not going to focus on that right now. Right now, we're more about crypto. But one thing I will note is that you guys, as Keller Williams agents, do with our partnership, you get an amazing deal. A way better deal than we offer anyone else is with you guys as Keller Williams agents. So if you're interested at all, including this free 30-minute consultation with me, please feel free to use that link. All right, now this is important because I make it very clear whenever I talk about any of these things is that this is not investment advice. I am not an investment advisor, and everything I do is for education. I will never tell anyone where to put their money. All I do is try to educate and tell people what I do with my money. So, I don't just talk about crypto and think it's like a cool potential idea. I invest a good portion of my wealth and my investment capital in crypto, and I've been doing it for a long time. I don't trade. I'm not a day trader. I'm not a swing trader. I'm purely an investor. So I invest for the long term. I don't care what is happening in the next 3, 6 months, a year. I care what's happening in 5, 10, 20 years. And that's what I try to do, is look at the long-term horizon. And I congratulate all of you for even showing up, because right now, everyone hates crypto. I don't know if you've seen what's happening in the crypto market, but everyone absolutely hates it right now. And this is the time no one wants to learn about it. No one wants to talk about it. But I'll tell you right now, these are the times that if you're like, oh, I don't own any crypto, but I'm interested in potentially put $100 into it, put $50 into it, put $1 into it. It doesn't matter, to see how it works. This is the time. It's not when everyone's talking about it. It's not when you hop into your Uber and your Uber driver's like, oh, do you see the price of crypto? It's skyrocketing. It's amazing. That is not the time to be buying. That is the time to just hold, and there's probably a pullback coming. This is the time, because there's been a massive pullback in the market. Everyone hates crypto. Everyone hates all investments right now, realistically. But crypto, specifically, has been getting hammered. And this is the time to learn about it. And if you have ever been considering starting a position, this is the time to look at the market. All right, with that being said, before we hop into Bitcoin and crypto and how it works and all the fun stuff there, the only way to understand why I'm so passionate about Bitcoin specifically, but the crypto market in general, is due to money. You have to, if I asked 10 people what, define money, you're going to get 10 different answers, because, you work all day for something called money, and no one can define it, right? So it's really important to understand what is money, what makes a good money, and then we can hop into Bitcoin. All right, so what is money? So up here, in the top right section, I have previous things that were used as money. Anything can be used as money. It's literally a social construct for society. It's money facilitates ease of trade. Instead of us having to barter, right? Like if I went to you as a real estate agent and I'm a tax professional, I said, all right, I'll provide tax services. In exchange, you sell my house. Great, that worked, because I have something you want, you have something I want. But that really limits trade, because that means if I need my house sold, I need to provide tax services to someone who also needs tax services done. But if we had some sort of intermediary, something that could be exchanged and show value, then I could go to, say, this person over here who might not be a real estate agent, but they need tax help. So I provide tax services. They give me money or currency, and then I give that currency to you. So I didn't need to provide you tax help, but I still am facilitating trade. I'm contributing to the market and contributing to the GDP. So it's getting away from barter is essentially what it is. So there is a need for money in a society, and the question is, what should be used as money? And that's what humans have been trying to solve for millennia, right? Since we started doing this. So anything can be used as money, but some things are better than others. So then that begs the question: what makes something better at being a money than others? So there's certain traits and qualities of money that humans have realized, like, these are the things that money needs to have: medium of exchange, unit of account, portable, durable, divisible, fungible. Those are all necessary attributes of a good money. Then lastly, this one, it's bold and underlined for a reason. It needs to be a store of value. We are going to talk about the differences between money and currency. And that is just a massive distinction. People use that word interchangeably, like money, currency. I got some money and like, here's currency. They're completely different. And the reason they're different, we're going to talk about in a few slides, but it is this trait down here, store of value. Store of value is this massive, massive importance, especially now. It's never been more important. The news has never been talking more about inflation than it has in the past, now than in the past 40 years. And so this has never been more important to fully understand what's happening. All right, so let's break down these 4 very important traits a little bit further. Portable, durable, divisible, fungible, all traits that are mandatory for a good money. So portable can easily be moved from one location to another. There's a reason why you don't use barrels of oil as money, right? Oil has value. People buy oil all the time. It basically runs the global economy, but you don't use it as money, because if I have a barrel of oil and I want to go buy some groceries, like what am I pouring some oil on the table, like pouring it in a cup and handing it to you? No one wants that. I can't carry around a barrel of oil. It's bad. It's not portable, right? Then you have something durable, retain shape and form over extended time. Something like gold, fantastic money, because the gold that was being used by the Egyptians is still around today. It might be in a different form, and it might not be in a nugget or a coin or jewelry or whatever, but it's still around. The reason you don't use bananas as money is because you might have a bunch of bananas today, and then in a week from now, they're all bad and they're gone and they're not worth anything. Terrible money. Then you need something that's divisible, can be easily broken down into smaller parts. So if you just look at the dollar, you have a $10 bill, a $5 bill, a $1 bill, and then it goes into cents that are pretty much worthless these days. But they basically, it's divisible. It can be broken down into smaller chunks, so you can buy large and small items with the money. Lastly, fungible. It's interchangeability, but essentially it means $1 in my pocket is worth $1 in your pocket. So fungibility is, I don't know if the buzzword going around these days is NFT. NFTs, non-fungible tokens. It's coming from this word, fungibility. So when something is fungible, that means if $1 in my pocket, $1 in your pocket, if we were going to go buy something worth $1, the person who we're handing the dollar to does not care whether the dollar came from you or me, because it buys the same amount of stuff. It's the exact same dollar. Something that is non-fungible would be something like a piece of artwork. For example, if you own the original Mona Lisa and I went on the internet and printed out a picture of the Mona Lisa and we were going to go sell those pictures, which one do you think is more valuable? The original one, right? That is clearly more valuable. So if someone's trying to buy the Mona Lisa, they would be willing to pay way more money for yours and probably no money for mine, because it's non-fungible. It's not the same thing. That's not, money needs to be fungible. You cannot have non-fungible money. Otherwise, people are going to be, things are worth different values and it completely blows that. So this is why these are the traits that a good money has. Also, right now, I kind of feel like I'm just talking to myself, but if any of you guys have any questions, let me know. And I'm happy to address those things. So if there's anything specific you want me to hear, like, hey, I didn't catch that, or hey, can you explain that in a different way? Just let me know. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that because I like to make it a little bit interactive. All right.
I'm loving it.
Did you have something?
No, I want to let you know you're not talking to yourself. I am loving it.
Okay, cool. At least I got you, Mike. I love it. All right. So what is fiat currency, right? I mean, you probably heard the word. What is it? Fiat, in my mind, equals fake. Fiat has no intrinsic value. Fiat, the Latin word, actually means let it be done. But really what that means is it's a government decree. The government has decided that this is going to be used as a money or a currency, which we're going to explain the difference soon. But it derives its power from government decree and their ability to tax individuals. You need to pay your taxes every year, right? My goal is to minimize it, but the grand scheme of things, I don't care how good you are at tax planning, you're going to pay a little bit of tax. If you're not paying any money in tax, probably means you're not making any money, and that's not a good thing. So you're going to pay some money in tax. And the whole point here is you have to pay your taxes in US dollars. So inherently, without any other need for US dollars, you as an individual living in this jurisdiction need US dollars for just your pure ability to live and pay taxes. But there's no intrinsic value. Like that, if you pulled $1 out of your pocket or a $100 bill out of your pocket and you looked at it, that in and of itself has no intrinsic value. But that is not how dollars started. That is not how dollars started. I believe I'm going to touch on this soon, right? There's a lot of problems caused by fiat currency, right? Trillions of dollars in global debt. Big problem. it can be printed into oblivion. Inflation, you know, everyone was just receiving checks in the mail, free money. There's no such thing as free money. Someone's paying for that. And the whole point is inflation that we're incurring right now is basically a hidden tax. Savers are losers. And Mike, you mentioned one thing right at the beginning, you're right? It's not what you make, it's what you save. Well, I'm going to tweak that a bit because it's not what you save. It's what you keep in your pocket to then grow wealth with. Because right now, savers are losers. If you go and make a bunch of money, you might be the greatest W-2 worker, MLB player who's making millions of dollars on a W-2. Well, half that gone, taxes right off the bat. You are left with half of it. You need to then do something with that money. If you just took that, put it into a bank account, that is losing value every single day. We're currently experiencing about 8% year over year inflation, which means your money is buying 8% less than it did 1 year ago. So unless you put that money to work in some sort of asset, some sort of stock buy, you know, whatever, crypto, anything to grow faster than 8%, you have less purchasing power right now than you did a year ago, unless you got higher than 8%. And that's the problem. It's not about what you have in your bank account. You could have quadrillion dollars in your bank account, but if that doesn't buy you anything, it's not worth anything. That's hyperinflation. That's Zimbabwe, right? They were throwing out $100 trillion bills. You're a trillionaire on paper. You can't even buy toilet paper with it, right? You might as well use the $100 trillion bill as toilet paper. That's the problem with this entire system. And people are, it's like, I've heard the argument all the time. Well, you know, the US dollar, it's the global reserve currency, blah, 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 whatever. It might take years for something to happen, right? I'm not saying anything is going to happen tomorrow. I'm just saying that there needs to be a better system. And this is not how the system was originally designed. There are countless problems caused when governments have the ability to print as much money as they possibly want. And we're experiencing that right now with inflation. All right, money versus currency, the fun difference here. Money is everything we discussed on that slide: portable, durable, divisible, fungible, medium exchange, blah, blah, all that. But guess what? Currency also does the same thing. It needs to. The reason paper is being used is because it's very lightweight. You can write different numbers on it and then make it so that it can go from 100 to 10 to 50, right? You can buy different quantities of things with it. But where currency lacks is that bold print. It is store of value. Currency does not store value. I just looked this up. Since the Federal Reserve was formed in 1913, the dollar has lost over 95% of its value from 1913. Essentially, your dollar is worth 95. It buys 95% less than it did, you know, in 1913. So it's constantly losing value. So, and this is kind of built into the system. Like there needs to be some sort of inflation, because this is something we'll discuss with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a deflationary asset, which means you hold on to it. There's less and less of it. They keep making less and less of it. Eventually, there's only 21 million ever. There's only going to be 21 million ever. So once those are mined, there's no more ever, which means you are incentivized to hold it instead of spend it. And that's not good for an economy, because why would you spend money right now when you're expecting it to be worth more tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day? So you need some sort of inflation so that people will spend the money. You don't want to make sure that everyone's just using it and hoarding it and not spending it, because that it's no longer being used as money. It's just basically storing value over time. So it's an important distinction. But right here, the main thing is, what are good monies? Gold, silver, and now Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the newest, best, most technologically advanced form of money. And we're going to discuss this. I separate the crypto market into different sections. I don't just think of all crypto is equal, because it's certainly not. There are thousands of projects. Most of them are worth nothing. So we're going to discuss that in a second. But this slide right here, I think, is very important. I took this from goldsilver.com. They have a presentation. They also have, if anything I'm saying is interesting to you at all, and I think one of the best things you could do is invest in your education. Invest in your education and invest in learning about money and what it is and how to get it and how to grow it and how not to lose it. Like these are just some fundamental concepts. It's not taught in school, so it's on you to learn these concepts. But Gold Silver, the founder, Mike Maloney, he has a YouTube channel. It's fantastic. And he also has a 10-part series called The Hidden Secrets of Money. It's on YouTube. I can give it to Mike and he can share it with you as you want. It's all free and you can watch it. They're like 30-minute episodes, 10 episodes of them. I made my mom watch it. I made my 95-year-old grandma watch it. Okay. I'm telling you, this is fundamental. My kid, I'm going to have a kid in like 5 weeks now. He's watching it. This is what he's going to bed to. He's going to bed to The Hidden Secrets of Money. He's learning about money and he's going to be teaching his teachers about money. Okay. It's not taught in school. So you have to go out of your way to get this, but thought I'd plug that, because if you're interested in all what I'm saying, I would go check out those videos. But let's just discuss this slide real quick. It's an analogy. And what's happening here is if you look at this $20 bill, right? This $20 bill, this is what dollars used to look like. This was pre-World War I. And essentially, you can't really see it at the top or the bottom here of what this is saying. But you can tell this looks different than what we have today. We don't have a little gold seal yet. It's not a gold certificate. But what this used to be is a claim check to your gold. So this meant that if you held this in your hand and it was yours, you could go to any bank and you could say, hey, here's my $20 worth of gold. I want actual gold. Give me the gold. This thing has no value in and of itself. Its value is the fact that it can get you $20 worth of gold. Fantastic. That is what it was supposed to be. Gold is not portable. Gold is hard to carry around. It's hard to divide into, like if I just have a chunk of gold, I'm trying to buy groceries. What am I shaving off pieces of the gold and saying, here, give me the bananas and the bread, it's not going to work. So this was the solution, and it's a fine solution. But what happens is governments get greedy. They want to overspend, and they can't do that when there is a set finite amount. You can't print more gold, but you can print fake currency. So back to this analogy, right? This is a claim check for this actual gold. That is what derives its value. The gold has the value because it stores your value over time, and this gets you your gold. So let's just take the analogy here of me going to the dry cleaners. You go to the dry cleaners, you have a nice suit, and you want to get it cleaned. You take the suit to the dry cleaners, and they give you a dry cleaner check, like a little claim check to your clothes. They don't charge you, right? Because they know you're coming back. They know you're coming back because they have your clothes, and that clothes is worth way more than the piece of paper they just gave you. So they don't charge you until after they're done cleaning your clothes. So if I have this piece of paper, it has no value in and of itself, except for the fact that it gets me my clothes back. So the dollar is essentially, today's dollar is essentially this claim check, but it does not get you any clothes. The only reason the dollar has any value is because you think it has value, and you think it has value, and I think it has value. And I know that if you give me dollars, I can go spend it on whatever I want. That's the only thing that gives it value. And if that confidence is lost, that is when you have runs on the bank, right? Banks don't actually hold your money. Banks have a fractional reserve system, which means they might have 5% of all the assets on hand that you think you have dollars, digits sitting in your bank account. If everyone went to the bank, tried drawing those funds, you're not getting it. You're not getting it. And that's why the government says, okay, it's FDIC insured. We'll back it up, blah, 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 whatever. Once the confidence in the government and their ability to actually hold this system in place collapses, that's when you get hyperinflation. But the problem with the US dollar and where we are in society today is the US dollar is the backing of all the other currencies. So if something happens to the US dollar, it happens to the entire world. And this is a massive problem. And it's like, I don't know what the solution is, right? I'm not that smart. All I know is that there is a massive problem. And one way to a possible solution is Bitcoin, a better monetary system. I'm not saying the dollar will go away. I'm not saying the dollar will go to zero. The dollar's actually been doing fantastic because it is the best shitty option. The US dollar, in comparison to all the other currencies, everything else is garbage. The US dollar is the best terrible option on the table. And it keeps going up in value, even because everything else is collapsing around us with interest rates going up and all that fun stuff. But in the long run, the US dollar will have its reckoning. And I don't know when it'll be. It might not even be when I'm alive. I don't know when it'll be, but there's a problem coming. Okay, Bitcoin, here we are. We made it. We made it to Bitcoin time. What is it? Well, it's a better money. It's a trustless money. And I'm going to explain why I'm talking specifically about Bitcoin. I know you brought me on here to speak about cryptocurrency in general, but Bitcoin is the first, it is the best. It is different than all other currencies because it is a store of value and a money. When I go and buy Bitcoin, I deposit US dollars onto Coinbase Pro, and I got on the screen, say it's $100, and I trade the $100 for Bitcoin. I see that as the easiest, dumbest trade on the other end as anyone will ever have, because I'm basically trading monopoly money that's worth nothing for something that intrinsically stores value over time. It's a better digital, trustless version of money, essentially gold. It's a digital gold. And that is what Bitcoin was made after. They took the principles of what gold is and they made it digital. And it took until 2008. It took the collapse of the entire system. Satoshi Nakamoto, which we will touch on at some point in some of these slides, he is the founder. No one knows who he is. It could be one person. It could be a male, female, group of people. No one knows. but it definitely stemmed from the cypherpunks. And they've been trying to figure out since the advent of the internet, since the early 2000s, like in late 99, all the way through this, they've been trying to figure out, how do you make a digital money? They knew it was something that needs to happen, but the technology wasn't there. And the problem is, think about like a JPEG, right? A photo, people see the NFTs and they're like, okay, well, that's just a photo. You can go copy and paste that. You got another one, right? That is the problem. Is like, how do you have a digital money where I don't know you, you don't know me, but we're trying to interact with each other. I don't need to trust you. You don't need to trust me. You could be the world's worst person, most untrustworthy person in the world. And I could be a very trustworthy, people take advantage of me all the time. We need a way to do business together and I don't get screwed over. And this is the way to do it. I need to be able to be sure that you have what you say you have and I have what I say I have. And that is the software and the technology that Bitcoin solved. It is able to do that with a decentralized trustless ledger. This copy of Bitcoin, the ledger copy of Bitcoin, is on tens of thousands of computers around the world. So if the entire internet went out, because I hear that argument all the time, well, if the internet, it's worth nothing. Yeah, but if one copy survived, you put the internet back up, everyone's Bitcoin, everyone's safe. So essentially you would have to take out the internet. And I'm telling you right now, if the internet goes down, we're in much larger problems than the fact that we don't have our Bitcoin anymore, right? This is an ancillary effect of that. But this is in and of itself what Bitcoin is. It is a better trustless money than any option we've had in the past. And, like just over here, right? Governed by a predetermined social contract and regulated by math instead of politics. Politics is terrible. Politics is all about power. And I don't even watch the news, but I do know that the people in charge do not have your best interests in mind. You need a system where they are not setting the rules for everyone else. Also, I don't know what my limit is here and I don't want to go super over, but I could talk about this all day. So you got to tell me, I'll try to speed this up a little bit. Okay. So I was mentioning, why am I separating out Bitcoin and everything else? Because essentially Bitcoin is money. It is a trustless money. Altcoins are doing other things. Altcoins just stand for alternative currencies, and it means everything other than Bitcoin. And you can see over here, you probably don't, I don't know if you know what this logo is, but this is Ethereum. And I'm going to break this down even farther. Oh, no, one second. Yeah, let's go. I'm going to break this down even farther into three classes, because really this is how I see the market. I see it as you have Bitcoin, which is digital money. I see you have Ethereum, which is digital oil. And then I see you have everything else trying to solve other real world problems or possibly make a better solution to Ethereum. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two biggest players. They make up the majority of the market cap. And if you were going to ever get started in crypto, I would say start Bitcoin, start Ethereum, buy them in equal portions, buy them in, you could just dollar cost average, which is a great strategy. I do it myself every Friday. I did it just before this call. I get a notification, buy some Bitcoin, buy some Ethereum. I don't care what the price is. I just buy more. And that's what I've always done. I do not sell my crypto, right? I buy, hold crypto in the projects that I feel have the most potential and are solving real world use cases with communities and teams behind them. And I'm playing the long-term game. Everything I think about is a taxable event. And the thing about crypto, and I'm going to briefly mention this because you can get into, we could do a whole nother one of these on just how crypto is taxed. But essentially, I take USD and I buy any crypto with it. Let's just say Bitcoin. You can then trade, like if you go to any crypto exchange, there are like Bitcoin to Ethereum pairs. Like you could buy Ethereum with Bitcoin. But if you do that, that is an immediate taxable event. You think you're just buying Ethereum, right? You think you're just buying Ethereum, but no, what you're doing is you're selling Bitcoin, getting USD, taking the USD and buying Ethereum. That's what the IRS sees this as. So you just created a taxable event. And let's say you've been holding Bitcoin for a long time, right? You have, first in, first out going on. Say your first Bitcoin was at $1,000, right? And right now it's at around 30. You just sold some of your Bitcoin to get your Ethereum. That's a massive taxable event because your cost basis in your Bitcoin was so low. That's a disaster. You do not want to be doing that. You want to minimize taxable events. I don't recommend anyone day trade. I think it's a loser's game and you're going to be 99% of people fail at that. So unless that is your specialty and that is all you do all day, day trading is a disaster. Swing trading, you can try to do it. It's basically like holding for 3 to 6 months. You think a trend is coming, you think a pullback is coming, you're going to buy and sell. You could try that. But my game is buy, hold for projects that I really believe in and think have the most potential. So this is kind of how I see the market. Digital money, digital oil, altcoins. And a little thing on Ethereum. Ethereum, their big claim to fame is, and their big implementation is smart contracts. Smart contracts is essentially, instead of it just being digital money, you have a way to set a certain rules, like as in a contract, it's like if this, then this. You get paid if this is completed, verified it's completed, then you get your money. And there's countless uses. This could be deeds for, real estate transfer. There are countless things that Ethereum could be used. All NFTs you hear about and most of these other altcoins are built on the Ethereum blockchain. So Ethereum is digital oil, because if you think about what oil is, in and of itself, it has no value. Like if I just handed you a barrel of oil and I was like, you're like, okay, what do I do with this? Like this, you can't just use oil, but oil runs the entire world, right? Oil runs the world. So Ethereum is trying to create this digital platform where all of these other real world use cases can then build projects without having to build an entire blockchain. So that's why I see Bitcoin as separate. That's number one. Ethereum is number two. And then you have everything else. And there are larger altcoins. Most of them are garbage. 95 to 99% of them are garbage. So you have to be very careful about investing in altcoins. But when you look at Bitcoin and you look at Ethereum, those are in a league of their own. Okay. All right. Bitcoin. What is it? It's a new money not controlled by banks or governments. It was created after 2008. The creators of this were like Satoshi Nakamoto. No one knows who this guy is. We probably will never. And I think it's better that we don't know. You don't need to know who invented a technology in order for you to ensure the technology works, right? If we didn't know who invented electricity, that wouldn't stop you from using electricity. It doesn't matter if the world's worst person invented electricity. It has made a drastic impact on the entire world and changed the way we do everything. So Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever that is, he, she, they, doesn't matter. They released it as a white paper. That's what they call these projects. They basically write down how the technology works, write down the project, and it's open source, which means you don't need to know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. If you have any understanding of engineering, which I do not, if you had the ability to understand those papers, you could go read them for yourself. It's all open source. So you don't need to understand who Satoshi is. You need to understand how the technology works. But we don't need to understand the technology, because if you think about it, I don't know how email works and I use it all the time. I don't know how the internet's actually working, but I use it all the time. You don't need to understand how Bitcoin is working other than the fact it works. So, you don't have to dive too deep into any of these things. It's really about understanding the bigger picture. What is it doing? Which is why I started at money. You need to understand money. You need to understand what is a bad money, what is a good money. And then that will lead you into Bitcoin. So the other thing I say is, for my entire generation, if Bitcoin went to zero and, the internet went down, whatever happened, it got an entire generation, my entire generation, asking, what is money? Because, everyone's just told, it's like, oh, it's that paper in your pocket. It buys you stuff. It's great, cool, whatever. So that is what my parents' generation, that's what I was told. It's just, this is it. This is money. This is currency. Go use it. Go work hard, get it, and spend it. But now it's got an entire generation asking, what is money? Like, why are we using the dollar? Are there better ways? And yes, the answer is yes, there are. The current system's terrible, and Bitcoin is a fantastic possible solution. All right, Bitcoin, what does it do? It's a blockchain, another one of the buzzwords that people use. You don't need to understand really how the blockchain works. And if you're interested, there is, I think it's episode 8 of the Hidden Secrets of Money that I mentioned previously, is all about Bitcoin, because essentially the entire, it's called the Hidden Secrets of Money. And it took 8 episodes because this was made a long time ago. This is when, I think it was 2014, 2015, is when Bitcoin started getting larger. And that's when this part of the documentary was made. But it's going into the fact that they were talking about gold and silver. Now they're saying there's a possible better technology, blockchain technology, which is what allows Bitcoin to work. The rules of the ledger are on the core software, or nodes. Anyone can run a node on their computer, and the more nodes you have, the more decentralized the platform. The reason why Bitcoin's blockchain has more value than, because like I said, Bitcoin is open source. I could just go online. I could copy Bitcoin's code and I could call it Breadify coin. I can call it Bobby coin. I can call it MicroPasskey coin, right? I can call it anything I want. But does it have any value? No, it has absolutely no value, because I have the entire supply, and because no one is running that blockchain, which means I could mess with the ledger all I want. It's basically as if I was like, okay, I'm going to create my own money. I'm going to open up an Excel document. And I'm going to say, here's who owns all the money. And I write my name and I write the entire supply next to my name. No one cares that I did that. I care that I did that. I can think that I'm the richest man in the world because I did that, but you don't care that I did that. And it's not going to buy me anything. So Bitcoin works because tens of thousands of people around the world are running the same nodes and the same decentralized server and the same copy of this ledger over and over again to make sure that it's all accurate. That is how I can trust Mike if I don't trust him, and he can trust me if he doesn't trust me. That is how we can interact now. And it's all through this blockchain technology. All right, so this honestly, I don't think we have enough time to get into this, right? This right here, Bitcoin mining, how does it work? I'm telling you, if you're interested in this, I would say episode 8, Hidden Secrets of Money. It's free. I think it's about an hour. It's well worth your time. Probably watch it a couple times. But miners, the term is used from, mining for gold. It's like similar to that, where you're actually like working, getting the gold out of the ground. Bitcoin miners are computers doing algorithms. They're basically running, they're throwing out random numbers to figure out what is that proper number. And it takes about 8 to 10 minutes to do this. And that is what it's securing these blocks. Okay, yeah, so basically the same thing here. Where are all the Bitcoin? People think like, where are my Bitcoin, right? It's like, okay, where do these things actually exist? Well, all the Bitcoin are actually on the blockchain. So even if you own Bitcoin, you're not taking them off the blockchain. You just have the private key to be able to transfer the Bitcoin to other wallets. So an important thing to understand about crypto, and one of the great benefits, like we're going to look, I guarantee this, I don't know how long it's going to take, but we're going to look back on credit cards as one of the dumbest things that's ever happened. Because if you think about what the credit card is you have the front, right? You have the front of it, has your numbers. That is essentially your public key, right? I give that to someone and that's how they send me money. Public keys are used to receive Bitcoin, and those numbers are used to basically send money out of your bank account into someone else's. If you look at the back of the card, it has your CVV number and it has your expiration date, or it has your, your signature, whatever. That is essentially your private key. But you're giving that to people. You're literally giving the CVV code to everyone, which means they now have your private key. They can charge your credit card as many times you want. And the only reason you feel safe doing that is because you know that if someone starts running your credit card bill up, you call the company, say, hey, that wasn't me, and they're going to pull those transactions off. That's a terrible system. What you can do with Bitcoin and all of these cryptos is you have both a public, private key. That's how this encryption works. I could take my Bitcoin wallet that has like my entire life savings of Bitcoin on it, post it on a billboard, and have it up there with just my public key. And as long as no one has my private key and I have my private key, I don't care if the banks go under. I don't care if there's a bank. I don't care if the world's smartest hackers trying to get into the public key. They're never going to get it. The public key, all you can do is send crypto to. As long as you are in control of your private keys, your Bitcoin is safe. And that's another reason why you should, if you ever go and buy crypto, you should not keep your crypto on the exchange. Somewhere in here, we're talking about how to buy crypto. And okay, I'm sorry, Mike. I always get over. I go too deep in these things and I get lost in it. But so here's the deal: when you're buying crypto, I'll leave this with just like a pro tip. A pro tip here is there's a difference between Coinbase and Coinbase Pro. And Coinbase is for my mom. Coinbase is for people who don't know what they're doing. They heard about crypto and they said they're going to go buy it. You can connect your credit card. Fees are astronomical, whatever. Coinbase Pro is for people who are willing to take an extra step. The user interface, it's more scary because there's charts and there's the buys and the sells and there's limit orders and all the fun things you can do in a market. But you don't need to worry about any of that stuff. All you need to do is place a market order on Coinbase and the fees are 110. I literally ran this experiment with someone. I think it was one of my friends. He's like, why do you use Coinbase? The fees are so high. I'm like, I don't use Coinbase. I use Coinbase Pro. Coinbase Pro, there's no fees. It just looks different. It's the same username and login. So my pro tip to you is do not use Coinbase, use Coinbase Pro. You can sign up with Coinbase, but use the Coinbase Pro user interface and just type Coinbase Pro into Google and it'll take you there. All right, so what you do is you choose a crypto exchange, say Coinbase Pro, you connect a payment method, probably a bank account. You have to do your KYC, make sure you are who you say you are, and then you place an order. So the money goes onto the exchange. You can place a market order, a limit order, whatever, buy some Bitcoin. But then what you don't want to do is keep the Bitcoin on the exchange. Coinbase literally just came out in their most recent earnings. And this is part of the reason why their stock was tanking, is they made a disclaimer. They basically said, if Coinbase ever goes bankrupt, that they are going to take like if you store your crypto on that exchange, that is part of the bankruptcy proceedings. It's essentially their assets. And that is the problem. That is the problem with all of the banks and the problem of you letting them have your money. Because on paper, it's yours, right? They let you think it's yours. You can move it around, blah, whatever. But if shit hit the fan, it's not actually yours. And the only way you can make sure Bitcoin is yours is if you move, say you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, now you're sitting with $100 worth of Bitcoin on the exchange, you take that Bitcoin and you move it to a wallet. There are multiple different types of wallets. We don't have time to go into many of these things. We already discussed that, but there's basically exchange wallets, least secure. You have browser wallets, mobile wallets. You can even have paper wallets. It's basically a wallet with a private key and public key on a piece of paper. That's old school. And then you have hardware wallets. And this is where you want to be. This is what I use. All of my crypto, the majority of my long-term holdings, hardware wallets. So there's the Ledger, the Trezor. Those are the two best ones. I own both, but it is the most secure. It stores your private keys and no one can access it, and it never touches the internet. The only way for you to lose your crypto at that point is for someone to hack you, come into your house, steal your hardware wallet, and then they still need the private key and the credit to get into that. So like they would have to basically hold you at gunpoint with it doesn't matter if Coinbase goes down. Coinbase goes down, doesn't matter. You still have your crypto. And that is like, and when I heard that disclaimer, I was like, yeah, of course. Like that is like the number one rule of crypto. There's literally a saying that's been going around forever, not your keys, not your coins. If you keep your keys on Coinbase, which is what you're doing, that you don't actually own those. You own those on paper. You don't actually own it until you move the crypto into keys that you own. And that is what a hardware wallet does. So all of that being said, long-winded way. There's different levels of security, right? You have private keys managed by third parties, least secure. This is what Coinbase is essentially doing. You have warm, which is private keys managed by you connected to the internet. Those are called soft. They're like it's like a wallet that is connected to the internet. So it's pretty secure. You own the keys, but if you already had a virus on your computer or whatever it was, someone could still get it because it's connected to the internet. Cold means you have private keys stored completely offline, most secure. That is what a hardware wallet does. Okay, long-winded way of saying we made it. Also, if you're interested in crypto, I'm telling like what you should do is one, of course, do your research on your own. This is all for educational purposes, but you go to an exchange. I recommend Coinbase Pro because the fees are lower, and then you deposit some cash on there. You then buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, so any of the altcoins on there that you feel comfortable with, you've done the research on, and then you move the crypto off the exchange onto a hardware wallet. And it sounds confusing. It sounds like a lot of steps, but I'm telling you right now, because it is not easy. Like if it was easy, everyone would do it. If we were already 15 years, 20 years in the future, and this was super easy and you just could go to Fidelity and press buy, you lost the opportunity. The fact that this is hard or this takes multiple steps and that I have to come on here and explain this to everyone is the fact that there is still opportunity. You are so early in the game. It's like the first pitch of the first inning. Some people are like, oh, I'm too late. Like I heard that argument back when Bitcoin was like 67,000. I'm too late. Well, no, you're not, because guess where we are now? We're back at 30. No one wants to talk about Bitcoin. This is the time to be looking at it and learning about it. And yeah, that's about it. I don't know if you guys want, to, I think we already ran over, but if anyone has any specific questions, I'm happy to answer a few crypto questions.
Can you say the name of the series again? There was a couple questions in the chat about that.
Sure, yeah. So it's called The Hidden Secrets of Money. Hidden Secrets of Money. Yeah. So The Hidden Secrets of Money is it's a free series, 10 parts on YouTube, and I would just type in Hidden Secrets of Money, and it's very clear. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would say episodes 1 and 8 are most important, just because 1 is about basically what I discussed at the beginning of this talk, and then 8 is about crypto.
I love that, man. I love that. I'm somebody who is adjacent to a lot of people who do a lot of stuff with this and have had a lot of conversations about it, but I've never understood it as well as I do right now. I feel like your capture of I love the idea of money, oil, and problem solving altcoins. That's really it's a really good way to think about it, actually. I love that. Is that proprietary, or can I just steal that and start talking about it? No,
that's all yours. I feel like what I do is I didn't come up with any of this stuff, right? I basically learn a lot about this stuff, working with clients, doing, I watch a lot of YouTube videos and I do a lot of research, but then I just kind of distill all of it down into saying it in my own way. Like that's kind of what I try to do is take complicated information and try to make it as digestible to in layman terms as possible. Like that's my whole game.
Well, listen, I love it, man. Thank you so much for bringing this to bear for all of our people. Oh, Carol, did you have a question?
I do. How you doing? That was good information, and I'm familiar with Bitcoins, and you just gave me a lot more information. I do invest in it, but I have a question, and you can tell me, and I know that it could be longer, and I'm going to watch YouTube. NFTs. I heard a little bit, but GPO, what's your take on that? GOPs, game of players, NFTs.
So those are like specific things. To be honest with you, I don't know that specific one. NFTs in general, I think are going to be huge. I mean, right now it's like an NFT. Everyone was talking about them. It's basically a big bubble, whatever. But NFTs long term provide an unbelievable opportunity for countless markets. Like I said, they're non-fungible things. So anything that is unique,
right.
Like if you go to a sporting event in 15 years, I bet you're not having a ticket. You're not going to be like, those are so easily counterfeited that you're just going to have an NFT on your phone, but you're not going to call it an NFT. So the way I see it is NFTs are a type of technology. We're not going to call them NFTs when they actually have use cases, but everything is going to be on a blockchain, and it's going to, an NFT, a non-fungible token, is going to be used for those things. So your tickets to the sports game, or, there's a lot of, for example, in games, I think that was what you were talking about with NFTs. All of the events, or all of like the little items in games. Like, I'm not a gamer, but any of those World of Warcraft, any of those things, right? They're going to be on a blockchain. And what's going to happen is those things that you earn throughout the time playing the game, those things are going to be NFTs that you specifically own, so that you could then take that NFT and go into a different game, or you could sell it. That, you just took all of this effort to buy it. Now you can sell it. There's a market for it. So like those little items are all NFTs, and it's going to be part of gaming. That's going to be one of the first use cases for sure. But we're not going to call them NFTs. I think that NFTs is just the way we refer to them right now because they're very new and people don't really understand. But when people think NFT and they think of like those crypto punks, or like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, where they just see like a photo and they're like, oh my God, this thing sold for $10 million. Like, this is such a ripoff. This is a huge like tulip bubble type situation. Right. That is one use case. Artwork is one use case, but it is not the use case. Just like saying, I looked at the internet when it was coming out and I was like, oh, the internet, I'm looking at email. And yes, email is one use case of the internet, but it is not the internet. Email is one thing you can do on the internet, but no one could have seen Facebook coming. No one could have seen Snapchat coming, Instagram, or all these fun things that you can do, crypto on the internet. You don't really see them coming, but they're ancillary effects of the technology. And that is kind of what NFTs are right now. So that specific project, I know nothing about. I cannot give any advice on that, or I don't own any. That's all I can really say. But I would say NFTs certainly have a place, but NFTs are much harder to buy than normal crypto, because I can just say Bitcoin has value. I believe that. Many people believe that. And I would recommend, I don't give investment advice, but I would recommend starting a position in Bitcoin. NFTs, like I said, they're non-fungible, right? So everyone is different. If I went out and bought an NFT and you bought an NFT at the same project, but it was a different one, then ours aren't worth the same thing. I could have bought a great one. You could have bought a terrible one, right? I could have bought one that's going to appreciate. You could have bought one that's not. So NFTs are harder to buy. It's a different market. My brother, he knows much more about the technology side of this than I do. He's like getting his master's from Harvard or something. He's like in the military. He's doing a whole bunch of stuff, and he understands the technology behind this. I don't. I just know high level. I know money, and I understand what's happening at a high level. But this kind of stuff, that specific project, I know nothing about. But long term, NFTs certainly have a place. You just have to do your research to make sure the one you're looking at has a real world use case. Hopefully that answered your question.
Awesome. All right. It doesn't look like we have any more questions. If you do have any, you can really quickly type them in the chat if you can get there before I wrap up the call. But thank you so much, Bobby, for joining us today. If you can leave your contact info in the chat, everyone here, we have Bobby's information as well. If you don't catch it in the chat, or if you want to hear more from him, you can reach out to him. He put a link for a consultant at the beginning of the chat. I'll share it again. Thank you so much, Bobby, and thank you everyone for joining us for our May Money Matters Mastermind. I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more from Bobby shortly. Thank you, guys.